What if I told you that right now, someone is making over $1 million on YouTube without ever showing their face? Here's the crazy part. They're doing it with a technique that 90% of creators completely ignore. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the smartest content creators are choosing to stay invisible, and how you could join them. But before I reveal the 3 types of faceless channels that are crushing it right now, let me show you something that might shock you. Remember when everyone said you needed to be a charismatic on-camera personality to succeed on YouTube? Well, that myth just got completely shattered. Nearly 30% of monetized faceless channels are making over $1,500 per month. That's not pocket change, that's rent money, car payment money, maybe I can quit my day job money. But here's what's really interesting. The top performers aren't winning because of luck. They're using 3 specific strategies that I'll reveal in this video. Now, you might be wondering, if this is so great, why isn't everyone doing it? That's exactly what makes this opportunity so perfect right now. While most creators are fighting for attention in front of the camera, a small group of smart creators is quietly building empires from behind the scenes, and timing is everything. In the next few minutes, you'll discover the 3 most profitable types of faceless channels, the shocking truth about what really drives views, and the simple strategy that turned one faceless creator's channel from $0 to $10,000 monthly in less than a year. But first, let me show you something that changes everything. Before I reveal these strategies, there's one crucial thing you need to understand about how faceless channels actually make money. It's completely different from traditional YouTube channels, and once you see these numbers, there's no going back. Remember how I said most people get it wrong about faceless channels? Here's the truth. 45% of faceless channels make between $50 and $600 monthly. Now, before you click away, here's what the top creators know that others don't. There's a hidden success ladder that completely changes these numbers. Let me show you something fascinating. While most creators are stuck in that first tier, 26% break through to make $600 to $1,500 monthly. But here's what's really interesting. There's a specific pattern that separates these creators from the rest, and it's not what you'd expect. Now pay attention, because this is where it gets good. 22% of faceless channels earn between $1,500 and $3,000 monthly. And at the very top, 7% make over $3,000 every single month. But before I reveal how they do it, you need to understand what these top performers all have in common. Take the infographics show. They've built a massive following of 14.6 million subscribers. But here's what most people miss. They're not just creating content. They're using a specific type of video that attracts viewers like a magnet. In fact, there are 3 types of videos that consistently outperform all others. But there's something even more powerful at play. The top 7% of creators discovered a secret that completely changes the game. It has nothing to do with fancy equipment or complex strategies. Instead, it all comes down to what they do differently with their revenue streams. Before I show you exactly how these top performers maximize their revenue, you need to understand the 3 main ways faceless channels actually make money. And trust me, the 3rd one will surprise you. Remember that surprising 3rd revenue stream I mentioned? Before I reveal it, let me show you something that will change how you think about YouTube money forever. The most successful faceless channels aren't just earning from one source. They're building what I call a revenue symphony. And once you see how it works, most creators think AdSense is the only game in town. But here's what's fascinating. Faceless channels like Bestie Health are earning premium ad rates, up to 3 times higher than face-based channels. How? They've unlocked a specific targeting strategy that most creators completely miss. But here's where it gets really interesting. The 2nd revenue stream is something that face-based channels can't easily replicate. It's so powerful that some faceless creators make more from this than from ads. Before I reveal the third stream, let me show you how this one works. Ready for that third revenue stream I promised? Here it is. While most creators chase views, smart faceless channels are leveraging something I call invisible assets. And the best part? Almost nobody is doing this yet. Now watch this. When you combine all three streams, something magical happens. It's like having three engines powering your channel instead of one, but there's a catch. You need to implement them in the right order. Before you can tap into these revenue streams, there's something crucial you need to know. It's about the specific requirements that make or break a faceless channel. And I've saved the most important one for last. Before you start dreaming about those YouTube earnings, let's talk about what it really takes to succeed. There's a reason why some faceless channels thrive while others disappear. First up, the YouTube Partner Program requirements that every channel needs to hit. Here's the reality check you need. Most successful channels follow a clear pattern. Months 1 to 3. Building foundation. Months 3, 6. Gaining traction. Months 6 to 12. Approaching monetization goals. But here's what makes the difference between success and struggle. Now for the tools you'll actually need. Here's the good news. The Essential Toolkit is surprisingly simple. But there's one non-negotiable element that most new creators get wrong. This is where it all comes together. Successful faceless channels aren't just uploading randomly, they're following a specific content strategy. And the most important part isn't what they do, it's what they don't do. Now that you know what it takes, let me show you something exciting. The different types of faceless channels that are succeeding right now. And wait until you see which category is growing the fastest. First up in our Faceless Hall of Fame, the Knowledge Ninjas. Take 2-minute papers with their 1.59 million subscribers. They're like the masters of making complex science digestible. Imagine explaining so well that people actually hit replay. Voluntarily. Now that's a superpower. Next up, the Tutorial Titans. Exam solutions turned math tutorials into a 276,000 subscriber empire. They're basically the superheroes students call at 2 a.m. when they're having a calculus crisis. No cape needed, just crystal clear explanations that make math actually make sense. Ready for this? Brightside built a kingdom of 44.7 million subscribers. They're like the Netflix of knowledge. Once you start watching, you can't stop. And here's the brilliant part about their strategy. But wait, it gets better. History and mystery channels are writing their own success story. Think about it. No need to dress up in period costumes when you can let the story do all the heavy lifting. And speaking of lifting, let me show you what's really carrying these channels to the top. Now here's something wild. Economics Explained grew to 2.6 million subscribers by making finance actually interesting. That's like making broccoli taste like pizza. Not easy, but when you nail it, you've got something special, and they're using one specific technique that changes everything. But before you rush off to start your own faceless empire, there's something crucial you need to know. It's the reality check that most people miss. And trust me, you'll want to hear this one. Remember when I said there's a shocking truth about what drives views? Here it is. It's not fancy equipment, perfect timing, or even the algorithm. It's consistent value delivery. The top 7% of channels discovered that viewers don't care about seeing faces. They care about solving their problems. And that's where the invisible assets come in. These invisible assets are what separate the top performers from everyone else. Think specialized knowledge, unique perspectives, and problem-solving abilities. While others focus on showing their face, successful faceless channels focus on showing their expertise. It's like having a superpower that nobody can see, but everyone can benefit from. Now, about that 0 to 10K transformation I mentioned earlier. The secret isn't working harder, it's working smarter. Successful channels combine three elements: consistent value delivery, multiple revenue streams, and what I call the expertise amplifier. Here's how they fit together. But let's get real for a moment. Building a successful faceless channel isn't all sunshine and passive income. Most channels in that 45% earning $50, $600 monthly, they're missing one crucial element that makes all the difference, and it's probably not what you think. The element they're missing is strategic patience. While everyone else is trying to go viral overnight, successful faceless channels are building something more valuable, a content system that works even while they sleep. And with tools like Storyella, this system is easier to build than ever before. Now that you know the truth about faceless channels, there's just one question left. How do you actually get started? In the next part, I'll show you the exact steps to launch your channel the right way. And trust me, the first step might surprise you. Before you go, there's something I've been holding back. Remember those 3 profitable types of faceless channels? Well, I've actually analyzed 112 successful faceless channels that are earning between $10K to $100K monthly. The full breakdown is waiting for you at streamstoria.com, link in the description. Remember that surprising first step I mentioned? Here it is. Don't start with the video. I know, plot twist. Instead, start with what I call your content compass, finding that perfect spot where your interests meet viewer demand. Let me show you how. Next up, creating your channel's signature style. Think of it like a recipe. You need the right ingredients in the right order. Successful faceless creators follow a simple but powerful formula: clear value, plus consistent style, plus engaging delivery. Miss any of these, and well, let's just say the YouTube algorithm won't be your best friend. Here's where Storyella becomes your secret weapon. Instead of spending hours wrestling with complicated editing software, you're building what I call a content engine. It's like having a production team in your pocket, minus the coffee runs and creative differences. Now for the fun part, accelerating your growth. Remember those 3 revenue streams we talked about? Here's how to activate them one by one. The key is timing. Try to do everything at once, and you'll end up like a juggler on a unicycle in a hurricane. Your first month is crucial, but not for the reasons most people think. Forget about subscriber counts. Focus on these 3 metrics instead. They're like your YouTube GPS, telling you exactly what's working and what needs tweaking. Ready to take action? Here's your immediate next step. Open your Notes app or grab a piece of paper because I'm about to give you the exact 5-point checklist successful faceless channels use to launch. The first point might seem obvious, but 90% of creators get it wrong. Every successful faceless channel started exactly where you are now, at 0. The only difference? They took action. Your faceless YouTube journey starts now. And hey, who knows? Maybe in a few months I'll be using your channel as an example of what's possible. Want to know exactly how to create engaging faceless videos using AI tools? I've put together a complete step-by-step guide that shows you how to use Storyella and other AI tools to create viral-worthy content in half the time. Check out links in the description.